So after the previous generation Grand Cherokee, the WK2 reigned over the premium SUV space for over a decade, Jeep finally decides to redefine the Grand in the Grand Cherokee. So this is the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. So it's the long wheelbase version and the first ever 3-row Grand Cherokee. This is the 5th generation Grand Cherokee, the WL, and so you can choose between two options. The regular Grand Cherokee is a 5-seater version, and you also do have the Grand Cherokee L, which is this, with a 6 or 7-seater configuration depending on whether you have the captain seats. Another quite interesting fact is that this is one of the first Jeep vehicles to be assembled at their new Mac Avenue assembly plant in Detroit, and that's quite significant for Jeep because it's the first factory in nearly 30 years to come up in Detroit. So, breathing life into what was once a thriving community. So you have two engine choices available, a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 producing 293 horsepower and 352 Nm of torque. So that's this engine right here. So this is found in many of the Chrysler, Dodge and Jeep products. A very well-known engine and quite reliable as well. And you have the more powerful 5.7 liter Hemi V8 producing 357 horsepower and 528 Nm of torque. Now another cool thing about the V8 is that it has cylinder deactivation technology, so it deactivates 4 of the cylinders when not in use for added efficiency, so that's pretty smart. And there's also a plug-in hybrid 4XE version coming up, but I'm not sure whether it will come to the Middle East. So now for the off-road side of things, this does come with Jeep's Quadra Lift air suspension, so you can raise or lower the car across a span of 4.1 inches, which is around 104 millimeters. And you can get a max ground clearance of up to 28 centimeters, and that is frankly quite adequate enough. And dune bashing, well, that's not the point of buying a Summit. For that you have something like the Laredo or the Trailhawk, but we don't get the Trailhawk here, so that's not in the discussion. And apart from that, you have 3 available 4x4 systems to choose from. So you have the Jeep Quadra Track 1, the Quadra Track 2 and the Quadra Drive 2. So this, I believe, comes with the Quadra Drive 2, which has an electronic limited slip rear differential. So now let's talk exterior styling. So in the front we get the iconic 7-slat grille, which is the obvious detail of any Jeep product. You have your Jeep logo right there. The headlights, they're now much more slimmer compared to the previous WK2 generation. And overall in the front end, it has this very mean and angry look with these DRLs and the headlights just looking straight ahead. And also the vertical grille again adds to that. Coming to the side profile, well, things are again even more interesting. So on the GCC spec Grand Cherokee, we don't get the American flag, so that's there in the US spec models. Would have been a nice touch, I like that, but it's missing. Now as this is the top trim, the Summit Reserve, you get these 21-inch alloy wheels, machine cut, and they look absolutely fantastic. And from the side you get to know how long and big the Grand Cherokee L actually is, and that clearly differentiates it from the previous generation WK2. Now let's talk rear end styling. So at the back we get these much more sleeker LED taillights compared to the previous generation Grand Cherokee, and these honestly look pretty good. And apart from that, you do have your Jeep logo, the Summit badge, as this is the full option Summit Reserve model. We have the L badge right here indicating it's the long wheelbase. You have your 4x4 emblem right there, and you come below, you do have your tow hitch hidden underneath this cover. And now the Grand Cherokee can tow up to 3,200 kilograms with the 5.7 liter Hemi V8, so that's the maximum towing capacity. And you do have your 2 dual exhausts right there, and the exhausts are actually within the hexagonal design elements they are given for the exhaust. So now let's discover the cargo space. So it does have an electronic tailgate. You place your hand right here on the sensor and it will open, as you can see. Now the boot is quite spacious on the Grand Cherokee L, as is the long wheelbase version. So with even all the 3 rows of seats up, you have 490 liters of boot space, and that's enough, as you can see, to store a suitcase. You do have your Mopar service kit right here, You do have your sun blinds as well, and underneath you do have a flap, which if you open you have your fire extinguisher as well. Now the third row of seats are powered, and if you fold them down, you can fold them down by just clicking these buttons right here, 3L and 3R. So the third row of seats, left and right, will go down automatically. Now you have 1330 liters of boot space, and as you can see, that is massive. And if you need more cargo space, all you got to do is just click this 2L and 2R, and that folds down the second row of seats as well. And that is a massive cargo space, as you can see. Now, coming to closing the tailgate, normally I don't cover this part in that detail, but on the Jeep Grand Cherokee, it's quite different from conventional cars. Now, normally you have your button to close the tailgate mounted somewhere up here, but in the Grand Cherokee, that's not the case. Instead, you have a button right here. So you click this and it will close the tailgate. So that's kind of different from the conventional route. So right now I'm in the interiors of the Grand Cherokee L, and this is by far one of the nicest interiors I've ever been in. And there's a lot of touches in this cabin which show that. First of all, let's talk about this beautiful open pore wood. So this is waxed walnut wood, and it looks really great with this black leather finish on the dashboard. You do have this contrast stitching as well, which shows a very luxurious touch. So the seats and the interior cabin is finished in the Tupelo Palermo leather, which is black, and it is hand wrapped and quilted, as you can see. You do have this Summit badging over here as well. 16-way power adjustment as well for the seats, the controls for which are located on the side of the seat. A lumbar adjustment along with under-thigh support, which can be managed using the small button on the top. So on the door cards, we do get the same open pore wood finish. You do have your buttons for the memory function and the seat massage option, and you can see more of that quilted touch which goes on the door card, as well as you do have enough space in the bottle holders down below, where you can store a 1-liter bottle comfortably. And now let's talk about this central console bed. So here we do have this massive 10.1-inch Uconnect touchscreen infotainment system, which comes with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and Bluetooth connectivity. And there's a lot to talk about this system actually. Being a Uconnect 4 user, Uconnect 5 is a world apart from the previous Uconnect system, and it feels much more smoother and refined in touches, and everything is instant. Now here you do have these slider controls for your HVAC controls, and you can adjust the different airflow modes by this touchscreen right here. And you do have your lower panel right here for the HVAC controls. And then we do have the massage option on the new Grand Cherokee L, and that's one of the huge highlights. So in the massage option, you do have 5. You have the waterfall, lower back, extend, low extend and rock climb. My personal favorite is waterfall. So you just click on and then you choose your desired massage option, and that's best combined with the heated and cooled seats. So you do have the options for them right here. Now you click here on rear. You can adjust the rear climate control settings from the front screen, and that's especially useful if you have toddlers or old people in the back who cannot bend down to access the climate controls. So that's a very nice touch, and you can sync it to the driver settings as well. So that's pretty nice. Then we here go to navigation. Navigation looks much more crisper and newer in this Uconnect 5, and this overall interface looks very much similar to an Android Auto interface if you have used it. So you click here on phone, you have your regular CarPlay settings as well, and all your contacts, messages and all that. You go here to vehicle settings, and that's where we have quite a few important stuff going on. You click on off-road, you can launch the off-road pages. So here we do have the vehicle dynamics. So you do have your steering angle, which it shows right here, and your transfer case status, accessory gauges as well, where you can see your different battery voltage, oil temperature, coolant temperature status. You click on pitch and roll, it does show the pitch and roll of the vehicle. You go to select terrain, so it has these different cool animations for different drive modes. So right now we are in auto. We shift to sport. As you can see, it goes to this circuit with the FCA Mopar Jeep logo. That's pretty cool. And you shift up into snow. It shows that cool snow animation. You go to sand or mud, it shows that animation right there, and the suspension starts lifting. So here we do have our volume knob right here, a very premium touch to it. You do have your tune and select knob. Then you have your fan speed, which can be adjusted using this right here. So you can see it here on this climate control page. You can go up and down the different fan speeds, and you do have your AC temperature adjustment as well. Now, speaking of AC cooling, well, it's not really the best, especially compared to rivals, and I feel Jeep can improve the air conditioning system on these Jeep models. You have steering wheel heating, not cooling. This vehicle does come with the premium Macintosh sound system, with 19 speakers and a 10-inch subwoofer, so that's pretty nice. And through a 17-channel amplifier, you can get up to 950 watts of sound, which is quite nice. So you do have another interesting feature on the Grand Cherokee, and that is the fam cam. So that's a pretty useful feature when you have a family and you can keep an eye on children behind. So you click on the fam cam button and you can touch on different points on the screen to zoom into different areas, and I think it's quite a useful feature. And right below the HVAC controls, we do have two USB-A ports, two USB-C ports, and a aux port right there. We do have a 12-volt charging socket as well. So it's good that Jeep has given a range of different outlets, so depending on the device you have and its age, you can have your options right there. We have our different select terrain modes. So we have sport, auto, snow, sand, mud, and rock. Let's go back to auto. And if you shift into neutral, you can engage a four-wheel drive low. You can again click on it to disengage it and put it back to sport. Another new element on the Grand Cherokee is this rotary gear selector, which is, well, it takes some time to get used to, but it looks quite cool. You do have your hill descent control and the four-wheel drive low. Here in the center, we have two cup holders with these rubber grips in them, which is pretty nice. And this is the key which you get with the Grand Cherokee. It's slightly different compared to the previous Jeep keys. You do have your unlock, lock, remote start, and the boot release switch, and your panic alarm. And close that right there. So you can just open this like that. So this is the larger storage. It does have a light and air conditioning as well. And you can open this front upper section right here, which has a little lesser storage. So steering wheel is heated, it's finished in leather, and you do have this piano black finish on it as well. You do get that same wood treatment going on for the steering wheel as well. On the right section, we have our adaptive cruise control and the active drive assist button. So this functions really well, and it maintains the distance between the car in front of you, and also enables cruise control for a very relaxed driving experience. And it is almost autonomous driving, but you do have to keep your hand on the wheel in order to make sure the system remains active. So you do get a digital instrument cluster here in the center, and you can adjust the different views. So you press and hold on the OK button, it changes to this analog view, and you can go down to see the different menu settings. So you do have your fuel economy, different vehicle info, and you do have the oil life, tire pressure, and the stop start status. You go down, you have your trip A and trip B. You come down below, we do have the map, so you can access the navigation in this center screen as well. You come below, we do have our off-road pages, so we have the off-road status and the suspension status. So right now it's on the level 2 suspension setting for better improved aerodynamics. You go below on the side, you do have our vehicle steering angle and the four-wheel drive transfer case status. Go on the side, you do have your pitch and roll. Apart from that, you do have your audio page and the messages page and the settings page, and back to the main menu. So right now I'm sitting in the second row of seats of the new Grand Cherokee L, and it is quite spacious in here. In fact, it feels like sitting in a hotel lobby when you sit here at night with these lights on. It feels amazing. So you do have enough amount of knee room. Headroom is also quite adequate. I do have enough wiggle space for my feet, and you do have your Macintosh sound system right there, and the same wood trim and all that is there. You do have AC vents here on the B pillars and also on this center console bit right there. And here we do have a screen with which you can adjust the AC settings. So you do have individual climate control for both the passengers, and you do have seat heating and cooling for the rear passengers as well. And that's a pretty cool touch. We come below, we do have a 150 watt charging socket, as well as two USB-C ports and two USB-A ports. So that's pretty nice. The second row of passengers also do get a foldable armrest with cup holders, as you can see. It's pretty nice, and you do have seat pockets behind both the front seats, so that's a really cool touch. And if you want more light to enter into the cabin, there's another cool idea. You can open the sunroof right here. So you do have a panoramic sunroof. You can open the lid for it using this right there, click it one more time. So this massive panoramic sunroof lets in a lot of light into the cabin, and that's a really nice touch. And this cabin does feel quite spacious. Now accessing the third row of seats in the Grand Cherokee is really simple. So all you got to do is just pull this buckle right here. So you pull this, the seat lifts forward. So you can push it forward like that and it locks into place, and then you can easily enter into the third row. And once I do that, I just need to push this seat towards me. So yeah, you can push that forward by dragging it forward. But to give an idea of the leg room, well, this is how much leg room I have right now. So here I do have a USB-C port and a USB-A port. I do have a cup holder as well, and AC vents for the third row of passengers, which is really important. I can see a small Easter egg right there of a Willys Jeep climbing up. And there's also another Easter egg. You come right here, you do have the regular Grand Cherokee and the Grand Cherokee L. So that's another cool Easter egg. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and like and share this video with your friends and family. And the comment section, it's all yours to let us know any feedback and any particular car that you want us to review. Once again, stay safe, have a great day, and goodbye.